Mm. Greetings of the day. Today, let us continue this poem. See, last class I stopped up to this. Flecknoe compares Shadwell to Arion, the famous Greek musician and poet. And while Arion was returning from Sicily, he was attacked by his enemies. So he jumped into the sea to escape from his enemies. And he sang his song, his last song, of course, they thought. But what happened? The dolphins, they were listening to his music and they carried him safely on its back. Like that, Flecknoe is here exposing Shadwell's pretensions, okay, as a musician. Shadwell is also going about his work in a violent manner. He plucks the strings of his lute with his sharpened fingernails and produces squeaking and loud sound instead of the soft music that should flow from lute. Then next he continues the same. Here, when Shadwell is singing the song, little fishes, they just surrounded the boat, that too not attracted towards his music or poetry, but just by throwing crumble or pieces of bread into the river water, they just to eat those pieces of breads, they just surrounded it. Then next, Dryden says, sometimes as prince of thy harmonious band, thou wieldest thy papers in thy threshing hand. Same. Then I shall explain it. Just a minute. Here, prince refers to the leader of the band of musicians. Sometimes as prince of thy harmonious band, thou wieldna how to handle. Okay, கையாள்றது, in Tamil exactly we call how to handle. Okay, thou wields thy papers in thy threshing hand. See, he had a piece of paper. On that paper, what it was written means some musical notations. Some musical notations. Okay. Having that musical notation in his hand, Thomas Shadwell, he just gesticulated his hands and feet. He just waved his hands. Okay. And that gesticulation is compared to Saint Andre. Look at the next poetic line. Saint Andre. Saint Andre. Saint Andre is none other than a French dancer, a familiar French dancer, and he moved his legs so quickly. Okay, he moved his legs quickly. How he moves his legs quickly, like that, Shadwell also shows, he gesticulates, he waves his hands. He says what Dryden exposes the defects in Shadwell's opera, that is, the title of that opera, here I have typed here, see, opera is nothing but dance drama, and Psyche is the dance drama written by Thomas Shadwell. Then look at the next line. Dryden exposes Shadwell's defects in this opera. How he says, not even the feet of thy own Psyche's rhyme, though they in number as in sense excel. So just so like tautology, they fell. He uses much metrical feet and he also uses a lot of sentiments in this opera, dance drama. And this play lacks classical restraint. It lacks in classical restraint. It is not such a familiar play, dance drama. So Dryden finds lot of defects, நிறைய குறைபாடுகளை கண்டுபிடிக்கிறார். Okay, Dryden finds lot of defects in Shadwell's opera. Then, and there is also repetitions. There are also lot of repetitions. Tautology, of course, you know repetition. That fail with the envy Singleton forswear the lute and sword which he in triumph bore, and vowed he never would act Valerius more. And he introduces a character by name Singleton. Just I will type here, John Singleton. John Singleton was a court musician, and also a singer. And Valerius is a character. Please write. See, it is here. Valerius More. Valerius is a character in Sir William Davenant's. Sir William Davenant's, D-E-V-E, sorry. Sir William Davenant's opera. It's a tragedy opera. Just I will type here, tragedy comic opera entitled The Siege of Rhodes. This tragi-comic opera, which was written by Sir William Davenant in the year 1656. And Valerius is a character in this tragi-comic opera, and Singleton acted as a musician, as a singer in this play. Okay, he acted the character of Valerius in this opera. Have you all taken notes? Just one of you say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Shall I erase it? He was a knight and grand master of Rhodes. Yarna Valerius. Okay, Valerius was a knight and the grand master of Rhodes. The envious Singleton, the speaker, okay, implies he will be the grand master of London. Once he was the grand master of London. Singleton, now everyone knows he was such a grand master. Okay, but when the moment Shadwell entered, what happened? His familiarity deflated. And Thomas Shadwell, in all his dullness, he is the only man for the job, whereas everyone is playing. He just acted, he just pretended as if waving his hands. ரொம்ப கேவலமா ஆக்ட் பண்றான் அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். Okay, John Dryden. So here, stopped the good old sire, good father. Oh, sire means father, and wept for joy in silent raptures of the hopeful boy. Just a minute. So what Dryden says means, Shadwell outshone this musician and actor Singleton, and he uses the metrical feet and sentiments of Psyche. His uses of metrical, that the beats of the lines, okay, the feet, unstressed, stressed, or stressed, unstressed, those rhyme scheme pattern and the sentiments are far excessive, okay, and it is lacking the classical restraint, he says. Then the result was that Singleton felt ashamed of being acting in that play, being acting as the part in the part of Villiers in Devanand's opera, The Siege of Rhodes. So he stopped acting. இவனை பார்த்துட்டு அவனோட acting stop பண்ணிடுறான். Okay. And wept for joy in silent raptures of the hopeful boy. Then all arguments, but most his plays persuade that for anointed dullness he was made. All arguments. See how Dryden severely attacks Thomas Shadwell. All arguments. What are all the poetic lines? What are all the poems? What are all the versifications written by Thomas Shadwell? They have poor qualities. So Thomas Shadwell is a poor versifier. He says argument here refers to whatever Thomas Shadwell has written. Whatever Thomas Shadwell has written. That's what all arguments. But most of his plays persuade that for anointed dullness he was made. Usually, kings were anointed. Anointed, see, look at the word anointed. A-N-O-I-N-T-E-D. Anointed na abhishekam pandrathu. Abhishekam. In the Hindu temple, we used to see the statues anointed with that of milk or oil or sandal paste, etc. Like that, in that country, okay, when king becomes the ruler of a nation, okay, when he wants to hold the scepter and the sengola, கை பிடிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி, okay, before holding the scepter, he will be anointed with perfumed oil, okay, with some perfume of oil. But here, how Dryden attacks Thomas Shadwell means Flecknoe is inviting Thomas Shadwell, and he was not anointed with any perfume of oil, but he was anointed with dullness. அப்படியே சோம்பி திரியிறானா, அதையே anoint பண்றான். Okay, that for anointed dullness he was made. Close to the walls which fair Augusta bind, the fair Augusta much to fears inclined. An ancient fabric raised in form the sight, there stood a fear, unbarbican it hide, a watchtower once, but now so fate ordains. Close to the walls which fair Augusta bind. See, Augusta is nothing but London, the beautiful London city. Okay, the beautiful city of London. That's what fair Augusta. See, the fair Augusta much to fears inclined. This was written in parenthesis. It was written in parenthesis, bracket, within two brackets. Why it has been written in two brackets means all the Londoners, the people of London were panic stricken. They were panic stricken on the account of civil war, the plague, and the great fire. Great fire, plague, civil war. உள்ளுக்குள்ளேயே போர் இதுன்னு வந்துருமோ அப்படின்னு ஒரு பயத்துல இருக்கிறாங்க. They were panic stricken. Okay, that's what this parenthesis we could see. The fair Augusta, the Londoners, they were afraid of such civil wars or plague or the great fire. Actually, great fire happened in 1666 and 1667. Plague also occurred in London. Of course, you know, you have studied in social history of England. So that's what, that all those events were reflected in this poetry also. What Dryden says here means an ancient fabric. An ancient fabric is nothing but the structure. Fabric is nothing but the structure, the old imposing structure. Okay. And raised informed the side, there stood of your past. In that beautiful city of London, there is a watchtower. There is a watchtower, and that watchtower, in most of the seashores, you have seen watchtowers. In Marina Beach or in some other seashores, you could see watchtower. Kalangare Vilakkamnu சொல்லுவாங்க. Very tall tower, lights will be switched on. They used to watch.
Lighthouse, ma'am.
Yes. Lighthouse. That lighthouse, that watchtower in London we call that lighthouse. That watchtower is nothing but this Barbican. Okay, this is the place in the past, in the year, okay, which stood, which served as a watchtower. It was a defensive fortification in London. Okay, அது ஒரு பாதுகாப்பான ஒரு fortification, that watchtower. But now it was called, it was called height. In Dryden's period, he has used, of course, many medieval English. Height means was called. Okay, H-I-G-H-T, height means was called. It was called Barbican, a watchtower once, but now fate ordains. ஆனா இப்ப எப்படி இருக்கா? It is a decree of fate. It is a decree of fate. Okay, it has become worst. What he says next is, of all the pile an empty name remains. பேருக்கு மட்டும்தான் Barbican, watchtower, but now the pile, it ruins. Of course, pile here refers to ruin, destroy. Okay, it ruins its name, that familiar name, the only name the place has survived. The beauty of the palace has vanished. அவ்வளோ அழகான அற்புதமான அந்த எரெக்ட் டவர் இப்ப அந்த அழக இழந்துருச்சு. The beauty of the palace has vanished, but now it has become, sorry to say this, brothels, houses. Immoral women will be there, no? That house அப்படி ஆயிருச்சு அப்படின்ற. Okay, from its old ruins, brothel houses rise, where their vast courts the mother's trumpets keep. Lived means also immoral. You write scenes of immoral loves and of polluted joys. Their joys have been polluted. Once it was a beautiful place in London, but it has become a polluted joys because of this immoral women, where their vast courts the mother's trumpets keep. The mother's trumpet, or none other than the immoral women. Again, sorry to say this. Okay, mother's trumpets, the old mothers, those immoral women. Then, and undisturbed by watch, in silence sleep. See, what Dryden says means, first Barbican Tower was a beautiful tower, but now it has become full of immoral women. And now this place, why he calls there are many number of immoral women, means this place becomes a stage. It becomes a stage. Only third-rate comedies are performed in that place. மோசமான காமெடியை மட்டும்தான் அங்க போடுவாங்களாம். Okay, third rate comedies will be staged in that place. So this place become third rate comedies characterized by irrelevant punning or enacted. In this connection, Dryden says that the very young immoral women, they test their capacity to intone and modulate, and the actors they used to shout, kattha seivanglam, they won't act in a well manner. Okay, on the whole place is noted for its production of vulgar and artificiality. Natural and the action adu illa, just it is noted for vulgarity and artificial place. He talks about Barbican, appadipatta place. Okay, Flecknoe has chosen such a place to anoint this king. See how he says, near these a nursery erects its heads. Nursery, it does not talk about any nursery garden. Okay, here it talks about a training place for actors, a training place for actors and playwrights. And it was started, this nursery, the training place was started in 1664. And Dryden had only contempt for this institute. அவருக்கு பிடிக்கவே இல்லை சுத்தமா இது ஆரம்பிச்சது. Okay, he had a contempt. He shows his bad expressions. Okay, why this Barbican, why this training place? Okay, all those playwrights had been started. So it shows his contempt. Next is see, near these a nursery erects its head, where queens are formed and future heroes bred, where unfledged actors learn to laugh and cry. Here queens refers to the little girls, the inexperienced actress and actors. Actors are all inexperienced. They do not have much experience. That's what unfledged actors. Full-fledged na nalla experienced, but here unfledged actors. And those unfledged actors also developed into immoral women later. All those characters who acted as heroines in some of the plays in that contemporary period, contemporary age, they became immoral women, he says, where infant punks, the little girls, infant punks means little girls who later developed into immoral women. Okay, their tender voices they try to act, but they could not act in a full-fledged manner because their character became burst. And little Maximin, again there is a reference.